closed mic session at the Winter Warmer 2020. We are delighted to have you join us, and we're delighted to have 11 readers for you this afternoon who are going to read on the closed mic. And so this is always one of our favorite events of the festival every year, as it is a chance to kind of showcase some readers who have been reading at Ó Bhéal over the past year. And this being the extraordinary year that it has been, has allowed many participants from all over the world get involved in Ó Bhéal and to contribute to the open mic on the monthly events, at the monthly events there. So we have a good mix of nationalities here with us this afternoon. It's going to be 11 readers. They'll do about 5 minutes each. We very much hope you enjoy. Thank you for being with us. To start off the closed mic this afternoon, we're going to have Augustina Adéọlá.
Hi everyone, I hope you're well. I won't say too much about them, but the first one is called I Own Me, and it's about my first tattoo. Okay. Pigments, injected figments of my imagination. A commitment, a symbolic decision, body modification. Yes, it is a permanent marking. Poking, buzzing, and exploring a certain type of freedom, asserting that once this is done, it is done. Needles, neatness needed. Speechless, I was instead. Needless to say, that day I felt it was the first time in my entire life that I owned me. If only you could know how lonely it is to be full of ideas of what you want to do with your body, but being suffocated all your life by what will the people say? Many chances never taken, several places never explored, intense feelings never felt, fantasies never fulfilled. Is it permissible, unholy, low-key? Yes, you have to stay low-key, no mindful lectures or ceremonies. 9 months to form in the womb, a childhood full of gloom. Teen years groomed by people who thought they owned me. They did me dirty and filled me with dirty ideas and obsessions, resuming, I have many confessions, oh. Strangers assuming, having no choice but to live with oppressors, aggressors, oh. Repressions, having to use my discretion, oh. Adopting different personalities, navigating my way around various mentalities, always changing localities, liberties, practicalities, originality, what's that? Costumes in which I lived in, just so I could fit in, be there, but just invisible enough to blend in. Individuality, don't you ever express it around oppressors. Straight up because of a breakup between two consenting adults that I had no say in being born to. Implications of messy foundations and relationships. Inspiration, this ex-prisoner of censorship, with loads of pages constantly falling out of her book of life, only wanted to keep some of them together. It was a pleasure, tickled like a feather, trying very hard to leave marks on leather, a paperclip, yes, a small paperclip, to keep it all together on my body. My responsibility, the only one I have for the rest of my life that is never going to leave me on my skin. Do you see my grin? Full of sin, they'd say, but inside my soul's library, I know that this was a win in the direction of actuality. And I tell you now, it took one small tattoo to make that incredible discovery that actually, factually, I own me. And then that small tattoo is literally, it is a paperclip. The next one is one of the entries for the 5-word challenge, which I always enjoy. It's a great opportunity for spontaneous creativity, I'd say. This one was cockroach, thread, sip, cascade, and strand. By that point, a sip of wine was no longer enjoyable. Everything tasted bland and she found herself unemployable. Each strand of hair no more care, stringy like polyester thread. How much longer was she supposed to bear isolation and boredom? Stubborn as a cockroach, well, that's what people always called her, resilient. But 6 months of being 90% alone has humbled her, or more like crumbled her, rumbled her, she stumbles to the couch. A cascade of emotions that have no release whatsoever anymore. See how far she has strayed? Laid there, legs spread wide and feeling inhuman, closer to an alien that does not belong. in whatever this mess is. Rolls around her stomach that never existed, stinking of neglect and loss of self. Roaches is what she rolls. Tokes all day is the new routine. Tokes and sips of bland wine. And the last one is yo-yo. I'm not your yo-yo that you can pull whenever you want, and I'll come to your hand. That's what you fail to understand. I'm not a frisbee that you can throw to the unknown, knowing it will come back, only to throw it back once again into the unknown, waiting for it to come back again. You're not my God and I'm not your servant. That's not my burden. I'm like a kite without strings, like a free bird with mighty wings. I'll go mostly where the wind blows, even across seas if you release me. I'll float beautifully and peacefully in the breeze and probably land in a meadow filled with more beauty until another gust of wind takes me elsewhere, and I'll carry the pollen and drop it in almost empty places, spaces with no faces or traces of cases and cages. That's all. Every so often I'll land in a place where I can be picked, repaired, admired, played with, only to be fleeced again, feasted on again, last but not least, released again. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Augustina. Very beautiful work. It's lovely to hear you there. Next up to the closed mic, we're going to have Máire Stephens, please.
Hi. Well, I'm on the Isle of Man, so the silver lining to all the horrible COVID stuff that's been going on is that I've been able to join in with things like this. So I thought I'd share some poems that I've written about the Isle of Man. So the first one is very short. It's a poem that I was introduced to on an online writing group. It's a triolet. Mist-cloaked, however thrown we stand, the Isle of Man so fair and free, protected by Manannan's hand, mist-cloaked, however thrown we stand. This is our home, this is our land, this jewel in the Irish Sea, mist-cloaked, however thrown we stand, the Isle of Man so fair and free. And following on from that theme, the Isle of Man is said to be protected by Manannan, the sea god, who casts his cloak of mist around it to keep undesirables out. At the moment, pretty much everybody's being kept out, but this is another poem inspired by the mists and by the picture that's in my background, which is of the Mule Circle. It's a Neolithic stone circle, burial chambers. Mist on the hillside. There's mist on the hillside, a chill in my bones. All colour has gone from this circle of stones. The sun, it was dimmed and hidden away. All that remain are shadows of grey. There's mist on the hillside. A frost finds my heart. From this circle of stones I can never depart. No bird song, no laughter. Sound has been stolen. Silence now reigns in world silvered, not golden. There's mist on the hillside. Ice binds my soul, for the circle is broken, the stones are not whole. The sun may break through, paint the colours anew, but though the mist fades, I'll stay cold in my grave. And the final one I'm going to do is my favourite poem of all I've written. It's based on a Manx legend of the Motherdu from Peel Castle, which is on a small islet called St. Patrick's Isle. So the poem's called St. Patrick's Isle. On St. Patrick's Isle, when the night winds blow, secure the gate, then go below, through twisted tunnels wreathed in gloom, deliver the keys to the captain's room. Returning then to fellow men who close beside the gate do wait, a cheering blaze to keep them warm, those who watch from dusk till dawn, till on one night of shrieking storm, from darkened door on silent paw, a monstrous hound with midnight fur stalks forth to follow to guardsman's door. Voices falter, Laughter dies, as to the fire the black dog strides. Then, like any common cur, it lies and stretches on the floor, but on its hide and in its eyes, reflected light transforms and dies. Welcome hearth fires become instead fierce hell flames to burn the dead. Men draw back, companions seek, near that fell beast few dare to speak. But one callow youth new to the fold declares them cowards, men grown old. He alone won't fear to walk the empty halls neath castle walls, and so he snatches up a light and marches off into the night. The creature watches, silent, grim, then slowly pads out after him. Those within are silent now. Cold sweat beads on soldier's brow. Then comes a sound no man should hear. An eldritch scream binds all in fear. They find the boy as morning breaks, and up above the castle wakes. Lay him gently on his bed, though it is clear his wits are fled. Stark horror etched upon his face, held fast in nightmare's cold embrace, until at last at the third sunrise he takes a final breath and dies. Now men won't venture underground for fear they'll meet the devil's hound, the Mother-do black dog of Peel, and it should call their souls to heel. On St. Patrick's Isle when the night winds blow, secure the gate, don't go below. Cross Castle Yard neath frosted moon, deliver the keys to the captain's room. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Máire. Wonderful, wonderful to hear from a neighbouring isle. Yeah, beautiful work. Next up to the closed mics, we're going to have Ada Miles, please.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
With your permission, I will sip on a bit of courage. It was a gift, and now I'll use it.
Very good, very good. Dutch courage.
Because if I were first, I'd manage, but now I had enough time to get nervous again. Hearing all these beautiful poems. I'm going to do a bit of a musical thing, but before that, I have a confession to make. Actually, the thing is, I'm Ada, but I'm also Miles, and Miles, a bloke in makeup, a gay bloke in makeup, just as I'm a straight girl in makeup. He wrote a song, and this song is absolutely made up. It's called Crocodile, and it's about an unhappy relationship, so it has some connection with Augustina's beautiful poem, actually, Yo-Yo. It's a bit with the same vibe. Not with the same vibe, with the same message. The vibe is a bit different. Anyway, I'll try to remember what I wrote. Here goes. I used to be your crocodile. You used to be my flowing Nile. The happiness is gone astray. You bear me now, but that won't stay. So stop the bout and hear me out. If you can see, go 1, 2, 3. Get out of my ass and out of my life. You may be gay, but I'm sad with you. You've got fat cock and tiny head. No thoughts, whatever can get through. Pack up your stuff, clean up your shit. It is enough. We cannot fit you. I've read a few improving books. You change the hue, I'll see the hook. So stop the bout and hear me out. If you can see, go 1, 2, 3. Get out of my ass and out of my life. You may be gay, but I'm sad with you. You got fat cock and tiny head. No thoughts, whatever can get through. You used to be my crocodile. I used to be your flowing Nile. The fun is dead, now going back. In our bed, you'll get the sack. So stop the bout and hear me out. If you can see, go 1, 2, 3. Get out of my ass and out of my life. You may be gay, but I'm sad with you. You've got fat cock and tiny head. No thoughts, whatever can get through. That's it. And I hope it wasn't too radical or too stupid anyway. And if there's enough time, I don't know, or if I should go, I don't know if I've exceeded the... Okay, so I'll read a few haikus then. I think from my new audiobook, so they're also songs-like, but I'll read them as usual poems. The first one is a bit different from what I've just done. It's about spring and the usual mad existential pain. Leaves are unhappy to unfold and stare around, stark, naked, and doomed. That's it. And then another that connects to it is, but this one is about, actually it's about coronavirus and the lockdown. It's called Remain, unfold and stare, but remain where you are. It's for your safety. And maybe I'll do another haiku that's connected to this as well. It's called Doubt, one, because there's a second doubt as well. I might do that too, I don't know. Say goodbye, shut all the doors and scream, do stupid things. Oh, don't you know? And the doubt too is about the same, actually. Quite late already. For all this fuss, goodbye. Then hunger says, hi. That's it. I don't know if I have time for 2 more haikus. Yeah? All right. Because with haikus, you don't know. They're too short, but then they're long enough. Okay. This one is about whatever it is about and everything else. It's called Waves. Tune in, receive, be. Happy. Tune in, receive, be. Sharp and one with chords. It could be about music, it could be about anything else. This one is about our trials and attempts and everything to be happy in life. It's called Wire. Upon reception, please be happy for fuck's sake. End of telegram. And I think I'll end it with, and it's the final, actually it's the final haiku in the collection. It's about the life and how some people finish that life, but it's not about suicide at all. One life, one sentence. Friends with electricity, but a chair ends this. That's it. I think that'll be enough for me because I have no idea what else to do. And thank you for this opportunity. It's lovely to be here.
No problem, Ada. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nice one. It's have the theatrical touch as well. Nice one. Well done. And fourth up now to the closed mic, we're going to have Massimo Lavelle, who's joining us from the US.
Yes, and I'm honored to be here as always. So this piece is called "The Place Where I Live At." So in the place where I live at, there is no need for a devil, so forget that. The truth is too complex and real to flip a script at. What is. There is only memory in this fact. There is no magic where I live at. If you see it and you feel it and you be it, then it is that. No dream is better than the truth where it begins at. Where love is not a metaphor you spit at, it spits back. See, there's the place where I live at, but there's another place I am from I try to get back. I see it in my mind, but it's too deep to dig at. What was once now, but isn't now. Now, how is that? Where was the switch at? And if I meant to fix it, then please show me where's the switch at and how it can be flipped back. I am blessed. Life is good. Yes, I get that. But can't deny I'm still a little scared where I sit at. I kick back, but with vigilance, I'm lit up. Things move around me that can hurt me if I slip up. The pieces of my body are too tender to be stitched up, delicately made with natural elements that sync up. I am like a fruit with water, love, and air I drink up. But solid is the same ground that makes the flowers stick up. Soft is the clouds that shift shapes as I think up. I love to fantasize, but must survive, so I sit up. I dream with my head down, but ears and eyes pricked up. It's easy to lift off, but seems hard to lift up. It's so quick to mess up and so long to fix up. I've spent years cleaning from a moment's dust I kicked up. I've made mistakes, but before you lock my wrists up, know that every single piece I broke, I tried to pick up. I wasn't evil, I was mixed up. If ignorance were an excuse, we'd all be acquitted, but I roll in my tongue before I trip up. May any words I spill be sweeter still to lick up. I hesitate to speak, I'd rather sing and change the pitch up, with notes that don't fit the storyline I have pinned up. I tried to hold the ring of a hero with my fists up, but I am not the king. I dropped the ring to throw my kicks up. That doesn't mean I let trouble catch me with my chin up, but what is power if it can't still protect me when I give up? Maybe better known than said, I should probably zip up, but can't keep my lips shut. Instead, I close my ears and keep my eyes with their lids shut. 'Cause here, no one has jurisdiction. I take no tickets I can't rip up. But come back to the place where I live at. With no place to live, it's still a place I exist at. I promise you, it's not just a well that I wish at. It's as hard as the ground where all life finds its prints at, and more subtle than the point my fingers try to tip at. It came before the seed bearing roots where they twist at, and will live on even after life gives its gift back. Once it sees for sure, this is where it got its gifts at. The place where I live at. The place where I live at. Worlds like many worlds around the center where I spin at. I look for consistency, a place to loop the string at, but only find a few hopeful points to hold some pins at. A few good choices, good habits that I stick at. A few loved ones I feel safe to cry and grin at. And moments that remind me this is heaven as I think back. I remember I was home once. I'm still trying to get back. But for right now, this is the place where I live at. Thank you. Peace.
Thank you so much, Massimo. Cheers. Great to have you with us this afternoon. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyable. And yeah, just to say on that side of the water, we're going to have Pam Campbell next to the closed mic.
Okay. Well, I am a daughter of the Appalachian Mountains in the United States, and I love how poetry holds our joys and sorrows. And the 2 poems I'm going to do are going to show that ability. Okay. We do not speak of these things. Hush, hush. We do not speak of these things. Blessed are the meek who suffer these things. Bird stills. Sentient cyclone breeze. Sucks air, splits sound, sees these things. Big flay smalls young flesh. Wielding switch. Sprung shame from these things. Bird plummets. Cracked ribs, clipped wings, song decays, stain pall shrouds these things. Bird stutters, light penetrates, refracts, reflects the weight of these things. Bird rises, her thermal a seam of blue sky, wings hum, an accelerando throb, she shatters these things. Bird sings, blows asunder the dust of these things, bellows thunder-throated her truth of these things. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Lopsided-eared dog. He ain't for sale, he says. His watery blue eyes squint hard. I squat and trace lopsided-eared dog's ear. Ain't asking to buy, I say. He licks his lips, stabs snuff-stained fingers. You looking like you want to buy, he says. My pocket bulging with broad piggy bank coins holds his truth, along with the smile that tugs at my mouth with each lick of lopsided-eared dog's tongue. I ain't, I say, and pull all 4 feet of me into that space. We're negotiating lies, truly lies, and turn to walk away. For anything can be bought or sold, my daddy Paul says, if you ain't too eager. Hold on there, young'un, he says. What will you? I turn slow like, the way I seen Daddy Paul do. Stub my toe thoughtful like. How much will you take for him, I say. He spits. Black mingles in the dry dirt, just shy of my bare toes, lays another pinch of snuff between cheek and teeth. You Austin's grand young'un for sure, he says. How about you give me that there in your pocket and we'll call it done. I am the grand young'un of Austin, mixer and painters of colors for homes and movie house murals, town champion of checkers. Taught me to read, he did, books and dreams, and that I was no better nor worse than anyone. And to hold my ground with my boy cousins instead of crying. Half of what's in my pocket, I say, and stick out my hand. He spits, grins, and takes my hand. Done, he says. Yes, sir, I say, and dance all the way home with lopsided-eared dogs. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Pam. Nice one. Great to hear you as always. So yeah, coming back now to European shores. Next up to the closed mic, we have a long-time friend of Ó Bhéal, Eoin Hurley.
Thanks, Kieran. thanks, Pam. That was really lovely. I also tried to pick 2 poems that were sort of at opposite ends, but I realized yesterday that maybe I had ended up picking 2 very similar poems. I'm not sure. So it's funny. it's funny how those things go. In some way they're very different. In some way they're very similar. But one's short and the other's shorter, so it shouldn't be too bad. Swimming in a shallow serenity, surrounded by horizons, floating whichever wayward on the glassy blue expanse, the future is above. Far, far beneath, in the shadowy deep, ink black, lurk the acts of fathers and nuns who forbade false sins and gave no shelter worth having. Down there, a brick-thick shoal of fish drifts as one block. But the sensitive souls sense something is amiss. They flit and they spin and spread panic within until the apparent harmony is drowned in a cacophony of conspiracies. Suddenly, the shimmering silver mass shatters and splits, darting and dashing directly to nowhere, anywhere but here, equally terrified of opposite fears. The strongest convictions are those the least clear, doused in a delicious false clarity. The water whispers of an age-old struggle, of battles won and wars lost. What behemoth lies waiting in those shadows? What psyche psychs itself up once again? Weary from the wounds of a long domination, weary of the sway of cruel sacred dogmas, refusing to waste away in its defeated, willing apathy, it awakens. The world above winces as it glimpses the beast surge toward the surface. Thank you. Yes, so the next one, yeah, well, I'll leave you to be the judges of whether it's very similar or very different. Yeah, but it's just a short one. They watch me through the corners of their narrowed eyes. They don't trust me. They know I am up to something. I gently suggest we go out. I assure them just for a short while, I am concealing more sinister schemes. They offer 1,000 protestations. I provide a plethora of paper promises. They tentatively agree. We near our endpoint. They are blinded by hubris. They snigger and whisper as we walk. I smirk in the knowledge that I shall have the last laugh. We arrive. They realize the trap. I am in control. They try to escape, but I give the order. They beg for reason and mercy. I am mad and merciless. They thrash wildly as the swirling black rises around them, and as it swallows them, I swallow it. I breathe a sigh of relief as the last of my inhibitions disappear beneath the creamy froth. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Eoin.
Cheers, John.
Very absolutely magnetic reading there, and beautifully done. Yeah, great to see your mathematics scribblings on the back and in the background as well. Jack of all trades. Yeah, great to hear from you. We're going to move on now. We have 5 readers left, just over halfway through our closed mic session. And next up for the closed mic, we're going to have Melisa Mauriño.
Hello everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Melisa Mauriño. I'm going to read three poems, and I want to dedicate my reading to Diego Armando Maradona. The first one is from my first published book, The Skin of the Caterpillar, and it's called Isle. Isle. It isn't loneliness, it's the luck of the other. I wrote with my penknife on the young trunk of the only tree. In this isle, the sun never sets, there are no birds, and all that takes flight falls down heavily on the sand. You said my body was a maze. Yet again, I clumsily strive to thread the needles, and though days go by, I prick myself once more where it hurts most. There's such beauty in pain, there must be, to yearn for return. Take me to the sea, the salt weaving loom, the curls that bite and tame each other when reaching my feet is not the sea. The sun burns me, the organs that I hide from the air and its scalpel. I swear to you I tried, my love, to knock it down, and threw to the heart all those stones I tripped over. I see them now fallen on a pool of red feathers, cardinals. I dodge, leaping forward, and can no longer return to the waters that brought me, since I see them waving up there among clouds. This is from The Joke, a tribute to Joker. City lights. Outside the goodbye window, marveled through the looking glass, I see the world without me. I see myself and new me, but I'm right there by the goodbye window with the tigers and the bruises, lost in the wisdom of destruction, found in the usual lonely place where the sun never shines. The heart of the city is on fire and the shouting grows into a lively chorus. I am lifted like a cursed redeemer and rise among the wounded as the king of all clowns. Now they dance like 100 versions of my own. I bleed out my saddest smile, and I heard with joy, defeated with unspeakable beauty, but alive. And the last one is, thank you, Girmahagat. The last one is it's an unpublished poem. So it's called The Stray Sod, which has a lot to do with Irish folk. We were wrong. People don't disappear into thin air like that ageless dog of ours who never returned when mother went out to buy some bread and figs a quarter century ago. Since then, the buildings around us have shortened. Santa was shot on the back with a 22 caliber on him, but we bled instead. We got jobs instead. A blinding white skeleton burst forth from that red oven bird trapped with birdlime, who stood still for 100 suns on the wire, and we left, for there was nothing we could do. It seems that we take layer after layer until nothing remains but the world. What about the man who once went missing and then was said to have been eaten by the shallow river, or the boy who vanished under the rain of fists? Not a drop drained out of the moon's exit wounds every time our hearts were broken. Teenage girls appear into murky wastebags with their wings entangled and their lips stitched together. We were wrong. Nobody disappears into thin air. Everyone has to be somewhere. And even if we stepped on a stray sod and lost all sense of direction and started walking in circles aimlessly around those familiar places we once knew, like ghosts unseen, even if we had to wear our skins inside out to find our way home, even if we didn't ever return, everybody should know that no one disappears into thin air. Gracias. Thank you.
Gur míle maith agat, Melisa. And great to hear our mother tongue coming out as well, and a beautiful dedication to Maradona. Rest in peace, and beautiful, passionate reading. And thank you so much for that. Next up to the closed mic, we're going to have Doc Janning, please.
And I am coming to you from South Euclid, Ohio. It's an eastern suburb of Cleveland, where I am the inaugural poet laureate. This first poem is something which just sprang from my mind this morning. From dark embrace of night, dawn rises in the east. Glowing coruscation, a rhapsody of color, into a baldaquin of joy. Light reflecting and refracting, seen and unseen, scattering across the scrim of sky into waiting arms of day. Thank you. And for my second poem, I am going to read Earth Song Summerlude, which has been included in the forthcoming Ó Bhéal anthology, Geography is Irrelevant. Rushing waters, cool sparkle of air, soft rustle of leaves on silken hillsides of green, and light-dappled wind shadow neath slow dance of cloud-striated sky. Cantabile susurration of slow golden breeze and ancient ageless arc of sun, immeasurable dimensions of time, each day scented with unique essence. Blue-gray stone speaks in numinous silent whisper and articulate sacred tone, of earth and nature, of ancient born, of eldritch magic and birth among the stars. Hint of distant music, siren summons of seas, and age-old calls of birds. Echo in plangent call of a jay, elegance arriving on wings of blue. All breathe from Gaia's heart, midst sacred memories of horror-rhymed past and unknown future. Within translated feelings and moments, thoughts well of the impossible becoming, half-conscious dulcet dreams of the possible coalescing into phantasms, memories of memories, cross pathways of longing, woven of sensuous sunlight and velvet shadow, ethereal looms of time stretching uncharted to the other side of the stars, to vanish into the immense silence of infinity. I travel through myself to find me, and words become worlds of light as I become who this place, this moment says I am. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Doc. Fantastic reading, and congratulations on your poet laureateship.
It's been over 2 years now.
Very good, very good. Listen, lovely to hear from you, and we'll continue our whirlwind tour around the world now. And next up to the closed mic, we'll have Kemi George Simpson, please.
Hi, so I'm all the way from Glanmire in Cork. So this is an abundant cycle, and it's a seasonal poem. Summer's full-headed afros are resplendent. Deciduous flare feeds and shelters, assisting the communal bloom. Shaped with deep wisdom, roots designed to intertwine, nourishing neighbours ensures longevity. Our own cycles in danger, fenced in by longings, cares obscure natural lessons, superficial aspirations bark at us through short-sighted inclinations and social media compulsions. Aspiring to style, we mimic the adorned bodies of the insidious everyone. Conformity conscripts, posing as solidarity. Autumn leaves leave, radiant in flamboyant array. Arterial now, trees guide eyes to the next stage of the sustaining shape. Beauty, fabulous, and then frugal. The calculated loss, gifts, compost. A vital shed, sacrificing to preserve life. Look, real abundance can spring now, after the fall and frost. So this was inspired by a friendship I have here in Cork and by being a stay-at-home mum. It's friending around the fringes. Oblivious to any deep attachments, I gave my farewells. I couldn't have imagined that you were as lonely as I was back then, all welled up longing to belong, surmounting a trillion frozen peaks. Surmounting a trillion frozen peaks takes its toll. Affinity, warmth gave warming a chance. Sorry. All welled up, longing to belong. Surmounting a trillion frozen peaks takes its toll. Affinity's warmth gave warming a chance. We kept in touch and found a rhythm, overlooking offences known to freeze friendship. Frustration blisters like chafing heels, the blow-in as strange as the black migrant. Rebels often breed in tight circles, like the ring-tailed lemurs of Fota, huddled to keep in the warmth. We force heads down and expectations low, keeping smiles bright and hearts open. We scale a million rejections, living day by day, choosing to cherish the minutiae. You flourish now, part of a gang. A patient generosity identifies the native, a curious breed, yes, appearing ambivalent, but allergic to betrayal. They watch and wait for years, searching for signs of sincerity, searching for ways to relate, longing to share the crack and the melancholy. Look at us. We've been loving each other for years, friending around the fringes. Greetings, news and views, daily and occasional, often inspirational. Fueling strength for daunting duties like walking into the schoolyard and out again, dropping off and picking up, changing nappies and crying with sensitive preteens, scrubbing toilets and remodeling broken dreams, challenging teachers and inspiring boys, living with men and staying with them. Tedium dominates the occupation of the stay-at-home mum. The mundane is foundation to an excellent existence, gifting consistency to a new generation. Banality did not bury, home life veteran and not crippled, destiny not devoured by the desperation of housewifery. Years do weather and locked gates block light. Still our faces bright with the gift of time. We are braver, more curious, more creative and fierce. You are more confident, I am less restless. We are courageous and resourceful, refining under constant pressure. We pressure too, pushing forward through one conversation after another, dealing with infinite issues and a chorus of crisis, responding to the unpredictable climate of family life in Ireland. So this is for my husband, and he's white, Irish, and it is in a father's voice. He has a screensaver of our kids on his phone, and he was being provoked by a work colleague with an insult. So we have 4 brown children, and this is called Daddy's Love or Black Bastard. Black bastard. He is mixed, not black. He belongs to me. I am his father. Am I a white snowflake, melted by liberal heat, destiny endangered by a dark side? I am his father. He is son of my fathers. Fatherless in your history, you caricature him, bastard. He completes my ancestry, correcting subjugating tendency. To some, we are all wrong, strolling side by side, looking like incomplete pieces of a jigsaw. Him, earth-nourished complexion, shining like whole nuts and legumes. Me, radish-tinged buttermilk, appearing sour but enriching. Same walk, same talk. His grumpy mood, the likeness of his Danish grandad. Athletic like his father. Artistic flair, image of his English grandad, and stubbornness, spit of his mam. Black bastard. Insults upholding imperialistic traditions, rape the land, rape the women, plunder the wealth, disown the spawn. Black bastard? Black, like your fears, possibilities darkened by ignorant animosity. Black, like your limited sight. Black to the inevitable abundance of pigmentation. Black, like the limited rule. True light continues to disperse a dim rain. Black bastard, black in political solidarity, black with a spirit of triumph and endurance, black with mad creativity, black with intellectual complexity. Black bastard, bastard to your judgments, bastard to your expectations, bastard to your taunting, bastard to your colonial traditions. My black bastard, heir to love and diversity.
Thank you so much, Kemi. Hugely powerful reading. Great to hear from you. Our penultimate reader for this closed mic session is Lauren O'Donovan, please.
Thank you, Kieran. I'm absolutely delighted to be here and to get to listen to all of these fantastic poets. Thank you all very much. The first poem I have for you is a comic ballad, and it's based on true events, recent events. The Ballad of Octavia. Come here and let me tell you a story sad and true about a lady called Octavia who once silver, now is blue. Now this lady was a beauty beyond what I ever knew, sleek and poised and graceful. We were fated, it was true. On the first day that I met her, I could not believe my luck. With my charm and heavy purse, she knew that with me she was stuck. At home I showed her off, the lads were proper starstruck. Not yet having met a lady like my Octavia, they said, boy, you have some luck. One day we went a riding out beyond the borders of the town, when suddenly from nowhere, your one in front starts slowing down. What's she up to all of a sudden, says I, this one's a clown. But I felt the bad inside my bones, and knew he never should have left the town. Whoa, I yelled or swore. I've never had myself such a scare, but with not a baby's hair to spare, Octavia stopped clear the old mare. But the young fella up my arse was so close he didn't have a prayer, and for his ungodly patience, he nearly got more than a scare. For the moment that we stopped was the second that he smashed, right straight up into Octavia's ass. Wham bam, up inside her he crashed. Oh, the shame, oh, the terror of such destruction fast and vast. I thought that was the worst of it, till another fella into us smashed. Now Octavia will never be the same. They had to chop her straight in two, and they couldn't hide the scars of it, so had to paint her from silver to blue. Her heated seats did not work again, and rear cameras were left askew. Woe is me, all left as fleeting memory of a time when Octavia was one, not two. So, and next up, to hopefully delight you, is a found poem from the bathroom graffiti up in the UCC bathrooms. It's called Latrina Voxe. Collage is lonely. Any League of Legends players? This is the sign you asked for. My parents think nothing is good enough. Up the ra! I'm 29 and in love with a woman. For the first time, I know who I am. Don't vote the same pricks in back on Feb 8th. I have an eating disorder. I just want to feel beautiful. Ross Mulcahy is hung like a horse. Why can't my lonely ass find a decent man? Repeal! Nobody knows I'm trans, but I'm still terrified using the ladies. My boyfriend says he loves me and I'm scared. I don't understand why. Any bags? Tomato! Love yourself first. You are yours. Beyonce is ruining music. This is your bathroom, and anyone who thinks otherwise can feck off. I cheated on my boyfriend, and now I'm pregnant. Any hash on tick? Any bags? Coronavirus, more dangerous than we're being told. I love Beyonce. And last up for you, this poem is inspired by Elizabeth Gilbert's TED Talk on the creative process. It's excellent if you have time to check it out. And it's called Catch the Poem by Its Tail. In feathered barley put ablaze each day, by sunset and its early opposite, I grasp the basket woven by my hand, and lay my scythe asleep against my harvest. My palms are blistered and my fingers stained by woody skin of grain and plant life juice. I wipe them on my apron sewn by mother, precisely stitched with twin embroidered roses. I feel it then. Each breath is strange and grows fingers and lungs to grip my heart and squeeze. I look up over fields, through thick, tall trees, a shepherd searching for a friend, the wolf. The earth begins to rumble, pebbles bounce. It grips me in my gut before I see the landscape turn and twist until a track for ancient engine barreling down on me. Beneath my feet, the ground now shakes to shout at me to go, to run and run like hell. But I already race down narrow paths, between neat rows of crops and scattered crows, and up to house, my home, at kitchen table, I seize a pencil, I wrestle paper sheets. So when the train arrives to thunder through me, I collect it, I grab it on the page. Then other times I am not fast enough. I leave it all when I first feel a rumble. run like I am a wolf with thirst for life, but I do not reach home before the thunder crescendos and continues straight on through, up out of me, back to the fields and the trees, around the river and over the land to look for other poets, fleet of foot. And then there are the moments when I run, and even running still I almost miss. I'm in the house, the pencil and the paper, but it already hit and plows right through. So I reach out with other hand and catch it, catch the poem by its tail, and I pull it backwards into my body, all while I am transcribing on the page. These times the poem ends perfect and intact, but backwards from the last word to the first. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Lauren. Excellent. Wonderful comic and entertaining reading there. Thank you so much. And we're gonna bring a close to this closed mic session with poems from Susana Triphaletti, please. Do we have Susana there? Susana, you're still muted there. If you want to just unmute your.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Take it away.
Okay, so thank you very much for having me. I lost the poem. I find it again. Okay, so this is a poem I wrote for my great auntie who passed away last year. It's called Summer Afternoons. My childhood is a small triangle of light, an enclosed wild garden where the nettle is high and the Judas tree looks back at you. I do not remember how many steps I need to crawl to my great auntie's kitchen, but I can feel the roughness of the wood under my bare feet and hands while her voice leads me upstairs. She's the captain of my boat, the loudest voice, who knows how to grow tomatoes with no water and when to harvest grapes without touching them. Her nose always into somebody else's business, and her shirt is bright white under the red lipstick, no ring on her fingers, and no safety belt while she drives. I sit on her side, pulling the foam out of the hot plastic seat of the old Renault. A new chapter of the Odyssey is unfolding from her smoky lips while driving in the dry river in the summer afternoons. The car bounces and bumps while we laugh and scream, and the apricots fall from the basket in the back seat. We'll eat the dirt too. The femme fatale Circe was able to turn Ulysses into a pig after he refused her love, him and his whole crew. I see Ulysses as a tall, hairy, beardy man with bad clothes and bad breath, like the fishermen we met at the beach where Ulysses faced Charybdis. A world of sirens, dark and untouched, is left unsung by the poets. Where are the women in the fairy tales when the male completes his quest? They will make fried aubergines and stuffed olives, and they will feast in my mouth. I lose my shoes. She buys me sandals, red little sandals, to make my feet bleed. I keep them with me in the sleep. Okay, so the next one is a poem that I wrote the last night. I met a guy. We all know single people, how difficult it is to meet people at the moment. Okay, so it's called The Half Night. I steal the cigarette from between your fingers for a puff, for the sake of flirting. I don't smoke either. The soft blanket on the white morning in my bedroom and the obstination of my dog's breath under the door. Did you really bring that stinky chicken roll in that bedroom? Plantago's heads are bumping on the plastic of my sandals, a snare drum announcing my feet. You're the last man I saw asleep, the last deep voice I laughed with when the drunk man fell asleep on his sandwich in Lennox. Just two pigeons we saw curled up in the cold night were balancing on a thick wire. How do they do that? Did they choose each other, or they just joined together for the sake of warmth? I don't close my eyes while nakedness surprises me, and I'm balancing my weight on the mattress next to you, pondering the shades of your ginger hair, the cliché of meeting a musician one night. I love Mingus too, and wow, the story of the clown, that could be me, trying to keep the heights of our laughter so that I don't lose your undivided attention. I'm half awake on my wire, and fearing the morning arriving too soon, I notice a polite stranger in my bed. I watch you brushing your teeth and gently folding your toothbrush in the cellophane. You do it as if you were handling a delicate flower, a dear picture from when you were a child. You're gone in the grey and cold Sunday morning under a night that wanted more out of lovers and a moon that was so small and clear to be plucked like a pea. Okay, so, and this is the last poem. I wrote it for a friend of mine. She's a special person, and she's been campaigning to repeal the 8 for the last 40 years in Cork. The title is In Prime. The muses are dancing naked. The shadows are licking the trees. I hear her. Here she is. Her steps are singing the excitement. Her mouth is quick and wit. Salute her, for she is the woman in her prime. Silver silk surrounds her skin. Gently rotting, her voice reveals like the copper bells of a queen. No battle she hasn't fought, nor night or night she ever feared, when the fire is lit of tongues and blood and pain and joys for the loss of the centre in Talkie Street. She has harvested the story of all women of all times, the unspoken truth and the glorious victories. Never give up, she whispers. She eats poetry with lemon drizzle muffins at the sound of a passionate guitar, the chants of the Debenham workers and the alliterations of late nights. She baptizes the wateresses one by one with the salted water of the well of Weep, and by them a pale ale at the Crawford and Co. in a breezy autumn night. She breathed light and laughed with pleasure at her full life lived, and were held in her palms of the woman in her prime. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Susanna. What a beautiful, beautiful performance and a beautiful end to what has been a really, really rich hour of poetry. I'll let you all breathe in and try and take in all that feast of words that came your way over the last hour. It was definitely the most international closed mic session we've had at the Winter Warmer to date, I'd imagine. And yeah, huge thank you to all our readers. Huge thank you to Paul Casey for all his work in setting up the festival, and to the Arts Council and all the funders, all the sponsors. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the festival. It's been really great. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll have one more thank you to all our readers. So Augustina Adéọlá, Máire Stephens, Ada Miles, Massimo Lavelle, Pam Campbell, Eoin Hurley, Melisa Mauriño, Doc Janning, Kemi George Simpson, Odonovan and Susanna Triphaletti. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the festival.